Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Playhouse. I'm Damiano Pietropaolo and I am here at the Royal George Theatre in Niagara-on-the-Lake, home of the Shaw Festival. I'm here with Artistic Director Jackie Maxwell. And I hear, Jackie, there's a hot little musical warming up.
You bet, Damiano. You can't get much hotter than Panama Hattie, Cole Porter's 1940 hit about a brassy nightclub owner. She's about to be wooed by a well-heeled divorcee and, well, that's when the fun starts.
Tell me, who was in the 1940s original?
Well, it was actually a vehicle for Ethel Merman, that great voice of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And two big hits came out of it. I've Still Got My Health and Make It Another Old-Fashioned.
Right,
Please.
right.
So Christopher Newton, our former artistic director, and Paul Sportelli, our musical director, teamed up and put this beautiful little show together. It's wacky, fun, just like an old-fashioned musical should be.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's actually part of our lunchtime musical series sponsored by Bell Canada, and I'm thrilled that listeners across the country can enjoy it too. So, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. But I think it's time to start singing.
Come on, be my guest.
A tale of nearly wartime.
Panama City, Panama, 1940.
The Santa Ana Plaza in the Canal Zone.
Flores frescas, gardenias, flores frescas, camelias, claveles y rosas muy bellas. Señor, cuánto quiere dar.
And I'm Mac, your friendly hostess of the tropical shore. I'd say we're the most popular cabaret in Panama City. Maybe it's how I mix the drinks. Maybe it's Hattie Maloney, who owns the joint and is our most popular singer. Maybe it's because it's Mardi Gras. Who knows? But I do know that I seem to see it all. Natives, tourists, U.S. Army and Navy, everything that goes on in Panama City. Meet some sailors, just off the boat.
Boy, what scenery! And windy. They tell me this is all virgin territory.
Hey, Scat, the card that dame gave you, what's it say?
Betty's Magic Shop, all the latest tricks.
I'd like to find the magician that made my dough disappear last night. Who'd think a lovely girl like that would take money out of a guy's pocket while he's asleep?
Hey, how are you, mates?
Hey, Woozy, you been out all night. Where were you?
I was a little tight last night. Some dame waved to me from an upstairs window, and I stood at a doorstep until 6 o'clock this morning.
Why didn't you go inside?
I was waiting for the red light to change. What's the matter with me? Why don't I do any better with dames?
If you don't know, I can't tell you.
Maybe if I could learn how to do that, dame come to me, go from me. A 5, 6, 7, 8.
When some goofy guy, some two-left-legged creature asks us where can I locate a dancing teacher, we say, Bo, why waste your dough on a horse in carpet cotton? Take a trip on a battleship and you'll get lessons for nothing. Boy, if you're a dancing fool, join the Navy. Don't waste time at dancing school. Join the Navy. When you're dressed in navy blue, the hot tootsies go for you, so join the Navy. Get the gravy. If to bounce a babe about, you're a demon. No one ever sits it out with a seaman. Every puss who plays the Navy will back me when I say, join it. Join it right away.
Hey, Mac, is your boss around?
She ain't up yet, soldier. Something I can do?
We want Hattie to come down to the base and sing for us again next week.
Well, you know Hattie, if she wants to sing, she'll sing.
Please, can we see her?
I'll try her. Hey, Hattie!
What do you want?
There's 4 guys down here to see you.
Only 4? I must be slipping. What can I do for you, gents?
We're having another one of those blowouts.
Okay, I'll be there.
That's great.
That is if I'm not on my honeymoon.
You getting married, Hattie?
You think I'm going on a honeymoon alone?
Where are you going, Niagara Falls?
They say it's wonderful in Niagara Falls.
They say it's wonderful anywhere.
Who's the lucky guy?
I bet it's Nick Bullitt.
You're right. I've been running this gin mill ever since I come here 3 years ago, and I'm gonna quit before I start looking like a rag rug.
Whatever made you come to Panama?
I felt so glum, so deadly dumb, that I became completely blah, until I read a sign that said, before you're dead, visit Panama. Arriving there, I took the air, though it was fairly late. Then in the mob, I spied a gob, and obviously a date. It wasn't hard to play my card, as it was Mardi Gras. We met, etc. I visited Panama. If away you long to steal to a real Shangri-La. Shangri-La. If your heart you wish to heal, visit if you're in need of new romance, grab your chance to scale Panama. Visit Panama. Visit Panama. Grab your chance and scan Panama.
A little while later, Nick Bullitt is here having a drink. And Lila Tree and Mildred Von Hunter stroll by. Lila is Admiral Tree's daughter.
We're getting that orchestra from Mamie Kelly's. Oh, it ought to be fun. We've invited about... Woo, Nick! Mildred, you go on ahead. I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, okay, Lila.
Hello, Lila.
Why, Nick, why aren't you down at the control house pushing buttons? I mean, the canal must be paralyzed without you. I mean, how do the boats go through?
Well, I'm off duty now, Lila, but they seem to manage somehow.
And what are you doing here?
Waiting for Hattie.
Oh, Nick, she's not the kind of girl for you. You should have a nice girl.
She's pretty nice to me.
Oh, Nick, you are hopeless. Hopeless, that's all. But you are coming to my party Sunday.
Oh, I can't.
You can't?
Well, I've got a date with Hattie on Sunday. Of course, if I could bring her along.
Oh, well, yes. Bring her along. I mean, I think that would be a fine idea.
Oh, thanks.
But, Nick, when does your daughter arrive?
Well, the boat's due into the harbor any minute now.
But aren't you just hysterical? I mean, can you wait?
Oh, I haven't seen Geraldine since she was 5 years old.
I hope she'll like it here. She's been through so much. I mean, to lose her mother.
Look, Lila, I'm sorry, but I have to hurry.
Now, don't forget about Sunday, and do bring, what's her name? Your boss will be there, and we're having champagne. Bye.
Goodbye.
Well, here I am. I saw you talking to that mousetrap. She looked fine walking around with no teeth.
No, Hattie. She was only inviting us to a party on Sunday.
Me too?
You too.
Well, that's different. Are we going?
Well, sure. And my boss is going to be there. I've been wanting you to meet him.
Okay. Is Geraldine's boat on time?
Any minute now.
I got a brand new outfit to meet her in.
Look, Hattie, I thought I'd meet her alone. You know, I barely know the kid. She was only 5 when me and her mother divorced. I gotta sell myself to her. As soon as I'm sold, I'll bring her over.
Ah, she'll buy you on sight. But say, wouldn't it be awful if she didn't like me?
Don't you worry about that. You're only wonderful. That's all. Oh, I'll be riding high that perfect day when you and love and I go sailing away. And I'll take you back home with me to meet my favorite family. They're the best family yet. And I'm certain if you met my mother would love you, and so would my sister Sue. My brother would think the world of you, and you'd make Grandpappy slap happy too. My dozens of cousins would all start singing if we went swinging by. My mother would love you, and come to think of it, so do I.
Meanwhile, nearby, Mildred encounters Woozy.
Entschuldigung, but are you following me?
I want to make some new acquaintances.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm tired of making all the old ones.
Well, I don't want to make any new acquaintances.
What do you want to make? Strudel?
No? And go away.
Well, that didn't go so well.
If you give Wendy and me $5 apiece, we'll introduce you to Florrie.
First, I gotta get a look at Florrie.
What's the matter?
Don't you trust us?
No, not after you vanished in Betty's magic shop.
Look, here she comes. Hiya, Florrie.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Scat.
Florrie, Woozy, Woozy, Florrie.
I told you we had a surprise for you.
He's not a surprise. He's a shock.
What do you say, kid? You want to go steady?
No.
Short and sweet.
Hattie!
Hattie, honey, your outfit? You look like a dream.
Do you like it?
You look wonderful.
How about her?
Hattie, Woozy, Woozy, Hattie.
How about you and me tiptoeing through the tulips?
Sorry, zombie, I'm engaged.
There we go again.
Florrie! Ain't this get-up a 3-alarm fire?
When Nick's kid gets a load of you, you'll be able to knock her eyes off with a stick.
Here they come now.
Nick approaches with his daughter Geraldine and Vivian Budd, Geraldine's chaperone and the family butler.
Jerry, this is the Plaza Santa Ana.
Oh, it's beautiful. I've never seen a place that looks so little like Philadelphia.
What other places have you seen?
Just Philadelphia. We live just outside of Philadelphia.
An ideal place to live just outside of.
Now, Jerry, I want you to meet the sweetest lady in Panama City, Miss Hattie Maloney.
You must be Geraldine. Honey, you're a darling. What's the gag?
Oh, I'm going to like you. I like people who dress up funny.
Hey, wait a minute.
Perhaps the lady lost a bet.
Listen, Scuttlepuss. One more crack out of you and you'll be wearing this cuspidor as a snood.
Daddy, she's the funniest lady. She talks English, but I can't understand a word she says.
Oh, now I talk funny.
Take it easy, Hattie.
What do you mean, take it easy? Here I blow 3 weeks' pay to make an impression, and what do I get for it? The gong.
Geraldine, you should apologize to the lady.
I'm very sorry, Miss Maloney. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but I just can't believe those are your serious clothes.
There she goes again. Get her out of here.
Look, don't get sore, Hattie. She's only a kid. When she sees something funny, of course...
Oh, so you think I look funny, too?
Oh, Hattie, you know I don't think you look funny.
Don't you, Daddy?
Get out of here, both of you.
Come, Miss Geraldine.
Look, Hattie, I know this looks awfully bad, but it'll work out. I'll see you later.
Damn it. Damn everything. Damn everybody. What do I care? I'm always a flop at a top-notch affair. And I've still got my health, so what do I care? My best ring, alas, is a glass solitaire. I've still got my health, so what do I care? By fashion and foppery I'm never discussed. Attending the Opry, my box would be a bust. When I give a tea, Lucius B.B. ain't there. Well, I've still got my health, so what do I care?
No rich Vanderbilt gives her gilt underwear.
I've still got my health, so what do I care?
She's never been dined by refined L.B. Mayer.
I've still got my health, so what do I care? When Barrymore, he played with his wife of yore. The lead Mrs. B played, but I played Barrymore. Elaine kicked me out with the clout, you know where. Ah!
Well, she still got her health, so what does she care? The hip that she shakes doesn't make people stare. She's still got her health, so what does she care? The sight of her props never stops thoroughfare. She's still got her health, so what does she care? She knew she was slipping at Minsky's one dawn.
When I started stripping, they hollered,
"Put it on!"
Just once Billy Rose let me pose in the bed.
She's still got her health.
I still got my health. I still got my health. So what do I care? Oh, what do I care?
It's later that day, and I'm worried because Hattie's drinking, and she hasn't done that in over a year.
Another double Cuba Libre for Hattie.
Tell her that Max says to take it easy.
Gin and tonic, please.
Oh, stranger in town?
Yes, why do you ask?
That umbrella you're carrying? In Panama, it's a dead giveaway.
Oh.
Listen, Mac. When I order a drink, I expect a drink, not a lot of bum advice. A lady is entitled to service around here, and I am a lady.
Is that a boat arriving?
You're either Scuttlepuss, the butler, or his twin brother, and I don't like either one of you.
This is the beginning of a very obnoxious friendship.
Where's my drink?
Hattie, you can't drink up all the rum in Panama. Tell me, what's the problem?
You know, I love that Nick. I guess I still do, but it's all over. My big romance wrecked by a kid comes from Philadelphia. I can't say Philadelphia.
Meanwhile, at the other end of the bar, Scat and Windy are talking up Flory.
All right, before we go any further, I want to know which one of us you're with.
Yeah, before I borrow any dough, I want to know if I'm going to spend it on his girl.
Why don't you two gobs cancel your subscription and go back to Brooklyn?
Hey, Flory, why the brush off?
Well, an English muffin got off the boat today, and boys, the heart left the body.
You mean that English droop with the brawly over there?
You don't know what this guy means to me. I was a sunken souffle, a shirt still looking for starch. I was a ballroom after the ball. I was a fallen arch. I was a frozen asset, a burlesque without a tease. Then suddenly, from over the sea came. Well, just look at me, please. I'm fresh as a daisy, hard as a rock, fit as a fiddle, proud as a cock, bright as a button, sly as a fox, shy as a violet, strong as an ox, light as a feather, blind as a bat, mad as a hatter, nervous as a cat, sharp as a razor, smooth as a glove.
tough as a steak, mean as a miser, low as a snake,
Scared as a rabbit,
small as a mite,
gay as a meadowlark,
high as a kite,
wild as a tiger,
drunk as a fool, sour as a lemon, and stubborn as a mule,
sweet as a cookie,
pure as a dove. Ha!
That means, mister, I'm in love.
She's in love. She's in love.
Well, Jerry, do you think you're going to like Panama?
Sure, Dad.
No, I also want you to like everyone in Panama.
But I do, except for that lady in the funny clothes.
Oh, that isn't kind. Look, it doesn't matter how good people are on the outside, it's how good they are inside that counts. And Hattie is all good inside.
Nick? Jerry?
Hattie!
Oh, I thought I'd come by and see if Jerry and I could talk.
I'll leave you two alone.
Look, honey, when we met yesterday, I think we both got a little out of line.
I didn't know that you didn't know how funny you looked.
Hey!
But you have a very pretty face.
Well, now you're talking. But let me guess, you don't like this dress either.
Uh-uh.
Well, what's wrong with it?
All those bows. Let me fix it.
With those scissors? Well, I don't know what... All right, give me the works.
And would you mind taking off all those bracelets?
Oh, can't I wear just 6 of them?
Uh-uh.
Well, I never looked so naked in a bathtub. Now, do I look like a lady?
Yes, you do.
Really? Hey, maybe I'll wear this dress to the party your daddy invited me to on Sunday. I gotta make a good impression on his boss.
If you wear this dress and say, "This is an occasion of great pleasure to me," he'll think you're from the best family in Philadelphia.
This is an occasion of great pleasure to me. I got it.
And could you just walk plain?
What do you mean plain?
Without the bouncing?
Sure, I can walk that way, but I don't feel as important.
I'll pretend I'm Dad's boss. Nice of you to come, Miss Maloney.
This here is an occasion of great pleasure to me.
That's fine, except don't say this here.
I get it. This is an occasion of great pleasure to me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, well, you're the best mother a girl ever had. What say, let's be buddies?
What say, let's be pals?
What say, let's be buddies?
And keep up each other's morals. Keep up each other's morals. Never shout it, but many's the time I'm blue, so blue. What say, how's about it? Can't I be a buddy to you? Can't I be a buddy to you?
Meanwhile, Windy and Scat try to cool off down at the waterfront.
Hey, look over there. They look like a couple of spies.
The last spy you traced down turned out to be the governor of Panama.
Look, he's slipping him a piece of paper. Bet it's code. He's looking at it. Now he's throwing it in the garbage can, walking away. I'm gonna get that paper.
Yeah, don't go poking in there. You don't know where it's been.
Look. What did I tell you? Listen to this. Guard. Control house. What does it mean?
You could be right. Hey, here comes Flory and that English mutton. Let's hide behind this bench here and see what they're up to.
Let's sit down.
I really feel safer in motion.
Or sit down. Closer. Closer.
If I get any closer, I'll be on the other side of you.
You know, it's just like fate, my falling for you. You do something to me.
Let me assure you it's purely unintentional.
The man that don't respond to me don't live. I tell you what, if I don't get a rise out of you with a kiss, I won't trouble with you again.
Watch this. A lit match placed between the sole and the upper of his shoe should do the trick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
What did I tell you?
The day of Lila Tree's party arrives. The highlight of the party will be a speech by Mr. Whitney Randolph, chairman of the Panama Canal Works.
Mr. Randolph, we're all so excited to have you here. How is your hay fever today?
Well, you know how hay fever is. It just has to wear itself out.
We're so looking forward to your radio address. The technicians have been setting up all day. Look, here comes Nick.
Hello, Lila.
And how lovely Miss Maloney looks.
Why, thank you,
And this must be Geraldine. What a lovely young lady.
Thank you.
Now go get yourselves a drink and make yourselves at home.
Mr. Randolph, this is Miss Maloney, the lady I spoke to you about. Hattie, this is my boss, Mr. Whitney Randolph.
Ah, my dear, this is an occasion of great pleasure to me.
I was going to say the same thing to you. You took the words right out of my mouth. Well, after this, I'm going to make up my dialogue as I go along.
You're very refreshing, Miss Maloney.
Mr. Randolph, this is my daughter, Geraldine.
Oh, this is another occasion of great pleasure.
How do you do?
I understand you just arrived from Philadelphia.
Yes.
And I hope you'll be happy here. Miss Maloney, Nick tells me you're quite a chanteuse.
Huh? I bet you wouldn't say that if you didn't have your glasses on.
But I'm not wearing glasses. Oh, that's good. Nick, would you join me in the library in a few moments? There's a certain job promotion I'd like to talk to you about.
I'll be right in, Chief.
Miss Maloney, I hope I'll be seeing a lot of you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Did I make a touchdown?
Oh, honey, isn't it wonderful? He's crazy about you.
And you too. You better go find out about that promotion.
Will you be all right here?
I've never felt better in my life. Right, Jerry?
Right!
My life was simply hellish. I didn't stand a chance. I thought that I would relish a tomb like General Grant's. But now I feel so swellish, so Elsa Maxwellish, that I'm given a dance. I feel like $1 million. I feel simply out of sight. So come on down. I'm throwing a ball tonight. I'm full of the old paprika. I'm loaded with dynamite. So come on down. I'm throwing a ball tonight. A certain person just brought some news, and wow, was it great. So I'm rehearsing my dancing shoes, 'cause now I can celebrate. I feel like $1 million. I feel simply out of sight. So come on down. Come on down. I'm feeling magnificent. I'm throwing a terrific ball tonight.
Florrie and Bud arrive at the party.
Well, you will admit you felt something.
Yes, but I felt it in my foot. That shouldn't count.
Then Scat, Windy, and Woozy arrive uninvited.
What are you three doing here?
We must see Mr. Randolph on private business.
And right away!
Yeah, at once.
I'm Whitney Randolph. What can I do for you?
Mr. Randolph, sir, me and Windy were on the Esplanade last night, and we come across this piece of paper.
Where did you get it?
We saw two men throw it into a trash can.
You know the men?
No, sir.
Panama is swarming with spies. I'll take this up with the proper authorities.
Gesundheit.
Saluda.
Bingo.
Meanwhile, Lila is talking to Hattie.
Miss Maloney, Mr. Randolph told me he thought you were delightful. I thought it would be a wonderful idea if you were to present him with this trophy before his radio address.
Oh, no, I'm no good at that kind of thing.
I'm sure Nick would like it.
Well, maybe for Nick's sake. I won't have to make a speech, will I?
Oh, no. I'll make the presentation speech, and when I give you the signal, woo, you come on and hand it to him.
Well, I ought to be able to get a woo away with that.
And you know what? It might be awfully nice if you would put some flowers in it when you hand it to him. He adores flowers.
Okay with me. Where'll I get them?
Let me see. There's some lovely goldenrod growing in the garden.
Goldenrod it is.
On air in 1 minute, Miss Tree.
Come on, everybody. We're going on air in 1 minute. Are you ready, Mr. Randolph?
I'm ready.
Quiet, everybody. We're on in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, Panama! As head of the Junior Auxiliary for the Red Cross, it is a privilege and a pleasure for me to introduce Mr. Whitney Randolph, chairman of the Canal Works, whose Red Cross unit was the first to complete its quota. We are presenting Mr. Randolph with a beautiful silver cup in recognition of his wonderful work. A lovely lady is now bringing up the cup. The next voice you hear will be that of Mr. Whitney Randolph.
It is with the greatest that I accept it. What's the use?
1 moment, please. We'll now return to the studio.
Jerry, the goldenrod did it, and she told me to give it to him. Who? Lila.
Miss Maloney, you may think you're funny, but you've gone too far.
Chief!
I'll talk to you later.
Oh, Chief, I'm sure Hattie didn't have any idea.
Ain't no wife for you or anybody else. You're a good worker, Nick, and you know what I said about that big promotion. But I suggest you get rid of that woman. Goodbye.
But Mr. Randolph!
I think perhaps you'd better go now, Miss Maloney. You've caused enough trouble for one day. I should have never have asked you in the first place.
Wait a minute.
There really isn't anything more to be said, Miss Maloney.
We'll go, but there is something more to be said. Miss Maloney is fit to associate with any lady or any gentleman any place. She's good inside. But you, Miss Tree, inside you must be a perfect sight. Come on, Mum.
How dare you? I'll have you know that I am a tree.
I'll be sure to tell my dog about you.
The next day, the end of the Mardi Gras fiesta.
Like all the people here in Panama, we like an awful lot of hoop la la. But after several weeks of Mardi Gras, we detest, we detest, we detest, we detest, we detest fiesta.
Have dreamed that we'd know love in all its glory.
Who would have dreamed that I'd ever rock on a rainbow with you by my side?
Who would have dared foretell so utterly swell a story? Who would have dreamed that such a sweet dream could come true?
How are you, big boy? Did you see the old sneeze puss?
No, he's been tied up all day, but don't worry.
Worry? Why would I worry? There I was on the 2-yard line and I dropped the ball.
Lila did it. It wasn't your fault.
That Lila, I'd like to see her surrounded by 6 silver handles.
And we're gonna get married next week just the way we planned.
Well, I hope so. But those wedding bells are getting fainter and fainter. Anyway, something good came of it. Jerry started calling me Mom.
Lila's the only one who can straighten Randolph out. I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind. See you later, honey.
Well, you can talk to her, but it won't help. My luck ain't that good, is it, Mac?
Since I went on the wagon, I'm
certain drink is a major crime. For when you lay off the liquor, you feel so much slicker. Well, that is most of the time. But there are moments, sooner or later, when it's tough, I've got to say, not to say, waiter. Make it another old-fashioned, please. Make it another double old-fashioned, please. Make it for one who's due to join the disillusioned crew. Make it for one of love's new refugees. Once high in my castle, I reign supreme. And oh, what a castle built on a heavenly dream. Then quick as a lightning flash, that castle began to crash. So make it another old-fashioned, please. Leave out the cherry. Leave out the orange. Leave out the bitters. Just make it a straight rye.
Hey, Hattie, you okay?
Look, Mac, if it isn't little Miss Goldenrod.
Well, Miss Maloney?
You know you told me to put Goldenrod in that cup.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I told Nick what you did, and he believes me, so you're a dead duck with him. Why don't you be a regular girl and straighten him out with his boss? He's liable to lose that promotion.
That's not likely. He'll give you up before he'll give up that promotion. And if I can stop him from marrying you, I've done him a big favor.
Why, you dirty, you...
Miss Maloney, I hope you feel relieved after this vulgar spectacle. And in the future, you'll do me a service by never speaking to me again. Goodbye.
Mac!
Yeah, Hattie?
Leave out the cherry. Leave out the orange. Leave out the bitters. Just make it a straight rye.
Meanwhile, at the other end of the bar, Windy, Woozy, and Scat are deep in conversation.
You found one of the spies?
I tailed him to a bar near the Gonzalez's place. It must be where he lives.
We're on to something big.
This could mean stripes for me.
Make them stripes for 3. What do?
We go over to the barn tonight later and prowl around.
We prowl around a stable full of spies?
Yeah.
Make them stripes for 2.
Oh, what can happen?
That's just what I don't want to find out.
What's the matter? You scared?
Prudence.
Get smart, Woozy. Can't you see that with those stripes on your sleeves, you'll attract more dames than you can cart away in a truck?
Please don't try to sway me against my better judgment.
You'll have your knees full of women.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bring on them lousy spies. A 1, 2, 3.
God bless the women, the wonderful, terrible women.
They're devils or saints, you never can tell.
They take you to heaven and give you hell.
Still, God bless the women, again and again and again.
Whatever you do, they're just one step ahead.
They read a man's thoughts like a book, so it's said.
What a pity they don't do more reading in bed. God bless the women, and God help the men.
Meanwhile, back at the bar...
I wasn't sure if you'd like the wedding dress I bought, but I certainly didn't think you'd object to the wedding.
I only said that I should have been consulted.
What about? What for?
I always understood that the man was supposed to ask the girl.
If it'll make you any happier, ask me. Well, go on, ask me.
I wonder if it's too late to join the Foreign Legion.
Wouldn't you like to settle down and raise 10 or 20 children?
Oh, the fertility of it all.
Vivian! Vivian! Where are you going? If I'm in the high state of jitter, if I typify glow and glitter, if you wonder why I'm touring heaven with the swallows, then hockey and mocky, what follows? Got my gown, got the veil, got the ring, it's a whale, got the crowd in the church, got the minister on his perch. All I gotta get now is my man. Pick the house, not too far. Open 5, open bar. Second floor, what a treat. Such a beautiful bridal suite. All I gotta get now is my man. Yes, all I gotta get now is my man. Yes, all I gotta get now is my man. I'm tired of always chumming with plumbers who don't like plumbing. All I gotta get now is my... Vivian? Everything is set now. Got the layette now. All I gotta get now is my...
The barn at midnight.
Look, this ain't part of the deal. I agreed to prowl around the barn, but not in it. I could have been mushing with Myrtle.
Shut up.
If I'm going to be killed in action, it's a different kind of action I want to be killed in.
What are you scared of, Woozy?
There's the light switch. Turn it on.
Okay, I'm flipping the switch. Nobody here. Let's go.
Woozy. Look at this layout. What do you suppose they're doing with all this stuff?
These here are explosives. Now we got the evidence.
Sure, we take this stuff down and report it?
We can't report it until we're sure it's explosives.
If you find out for sure, you won't be able to report it.
What we're gonna have to do is stay put until those spies show up.
What are you, crazy?
Look, we'll hide in that cupboard and see what we can find out.
Okay, I'll put my foot.
The next day, Hattie and Jerry have a talk.
Jerry, you know how your dad has talked about us all going to Philadelphia. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to come.
What do you mean?
See, I got this job offer, and I've been meaning to sell the cabaret.
You're just saying that because Mr. Randolph said Dad has to choose between you and his job, and Dad is choosing you.
How do you know that?
Dad told me.
Nick is choosing me? Oh, the sweetheart. But, Jerry, I'm not going to let him blow his career on me.
But
I know how much this promotion means to him.
Jerry, your father forgot to take his lunch to work. Shall we both go and deliver it to him?
No, I'll do it by myself. And, Mum, we'll continue this conversation later.
Sure, honey.
Jerry is halfway to the control house when Lila Tree's friend Mildred Von Hunter approaches her.
Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Miss Von Hunter.
Taking your father his lunch?
That's right.
Well, take this along with you.
What is it?
It's something your father likes very much, and he'll enjoy it after his coffee. Just put it on his desk until he's ready for lunch.
Sure.
Meanwhile, back at the bar...
Hattie, we need your help.
What is it?
Some spies are making a bomb, and they say they're going to blow up the control house.
Oh, they can't get inside the control house. There's guards all around it.
They're planning on giving a bomb to Nick's little girl.
Jerry? Oh, well, when is all this going to happen?
I don't know, maybe now.
My God!
And at the canal works?
Advance and be identified.
I am advancing, and you know me very well.
Lunch for your dad?
That's right.
Pass, friend.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, hi, honey.
Hungry?
Well, not yet, but I will be soon.
I've got a surprise for you.
What kind of surprise?
It's a present, but you can't open it until after you finish lunch.
My, aren't we mysterious?
I'll put it here on your desk.
Okay, baby. I'll see you later at home.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, let me...
Jerry, did you bring anything in here with you?
Hattie?
Just Dad's lunch.
Nothing else?
You can't come in here, Hattie.
Let me alone. Stop. What else did you bring in here?
A surprise for Dad.
Hattie, what's going on?
Where is it?
I put it on the desk.
Hattie, you know you can't be in here.
Well, I'm leaving now. And with that package...
Hattie, where are you going? What's going on here?
I don't know.
What was that present you had for me?
I don't know. It was something Miss Von Hunter gave me. She told me to put it on your desk.
My God! Hattie!
And the next day...
Naturally, there will be a complete investigation.
Did they catch Mildred?
Yes, at the border. I'm afraid that young lady will be in prison for a very long time.
I am simply appalled. Imagine my best friend turning out to be a spy.
Did you see the papers? Did you see our names in the papers?
Show us!
The presence of the conspirators in Panama was first brought to the attention of the authorities by Seaman Deegan, Briggs, and Hogan. That's us!
That means stripes.
And plenty of dames for everybody!
Vivian, you've got to make up your mind once and for all. Are you going to marry me or not? I mean, after all, Vivian, you can't take it with you.
I don't think it would be very safe to leave it around here either.
Chief, I've got to talk to you.
Yes, Nick?
Hattie and I are going to get married whether you like it or not.
Oh, is that so? Well, you ought to know, Nick, that I'm recommending Miss Maloney for a citation for bravery and patriotism. So you better marry her right away, or I'll marry her myself.
Hattie, did you hear that?
I sure did. Seems like everything is peaches here in Panama.
Who would have dreamed that we know love in all its glory? Who would have dreamed that I'd ever rock on a rainbow with you by my side? Who would have dared foretell so utterly swell a story? Who would have dreamed that such a sweet dream could come true? Visit Panama, visit Panama, grab your chance and scan Panama.
You've been listening to Panama Hattie, a special presentation of CBC Radio and the Shaw Festival, recorded live at the Royal George Theatre in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario. It was adapted and directed by Christopher Newton and Paul Sportelli, based on the book by Herbert Fields and B.G. De Silva, with music and lyrics by Cole Porter. In the cast, you heard Neil Barclay, Jeff Lillico, and Mark McGrinder as Woosie Hogan, Scat Briggs, and Windy Deegan, the sailors from the SS Idaho. Juliet Dunn as the Tropical Shore hostess Mac, Wayne Sujo and Karim Morgan as the soldiers Tim and Tom, Karen Wood as Hattie Maloney, Charlotte Moore as Lila Tree, Nadia Hovan as Mildred Von Hunter, Michael Quarren as Nick Bullitt, Jane Johansson as Flory, Tracy Thomas as Geraldine Bullitt, David Schumann as Vivian Budd, and Michael Ball as Whitney Randolph. The recording engineer was Greg DeClute. Panama Hattie was produced by Barbara Worthy. That's it for tonight. Join us next week for a special presentation of Margaret Atwood's The Blind Assassin, dramatized by Michael O'Brien. If you would like to send us a letter, please address it to Monday Night Playhouse, Box 500, Station A, Toronto M5W1E6, and send emails to sunshowcase@toronto.cbc.ca. I'm Damiano Pietropaolo, and you've been listening to Monday Night Playhouse on CBC Radio 2. Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Playhouse. I'm Damiano Pietropaolo and I am here at the Royal George Theatre in Niagara-on-the-Lake, home of the Shaw Festival. I'm here with Artistic Director Jackie Maxwell for the fourth of this season's Bell Canada reading series. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Damiano.
I gather we're waiting for the appearance of a very special guest.
Oh, we are indeed. And he's somewhat late, I fear.
You have a full house waiting for him. I hope he's not far away.
Well, Gilbert Keith Chesterton was never known for his predictability.
Ah, yes. GKC, friend and foe of Mr. Bernard Shaw himself.
Very much. Mr. Chesterton was an icon all to himself. A giant, really, in modern literature.
Mm-hmm.
He was an essayist, critic, poet, novelist, social commentator, extremely controversial, like his pal Bernard Shaw, and very, very funny.
And will he be reading from his own works?
Oh, yes, ably assisted by one of our veteran actors, Mr. Neil Barclay, and it was all put together by Mr. Tony Van Bridge.
One of the Shaw Festival's most revered and senior actors.
Yes, with his own history and contribution to Canadian theatre that is a story in itself.
And maybe destined for radio, too.
Oh, that would be nice.
He really is quite late.
I'm wondering if... wait, I think...
I must apologize for being late. But since I had to give up my seat on the bus to two ladies, I decided to walk. Now, I am firmly of the opinion that I was born on the 29th of May, 1874, on Camden Hill, Kensington, and baptized in the little church of St. George opposite the large waterworks tower that dominates that ridge. I indignantly deny that the church was chosen because it needed the whole water power of West London to turn me into a Christian. The very first thing I can ever remember seeing with my own eyes was a young man walking across a bridge. He had a curly moustache and an attitude of confidence verging on swagger. He carried in his hand a disproportionately large key of a shining yellow metal, and wore a large golden or gilded crown. The bridge he was crossing on sprang on the one side from the edge of a highly perilous mountain chasm, and at the other end it joined the upper part of the tower of an almost excessively castellated castle. In the castle tower there was one window, out of which a young lady was looking. I cannot remember in the least what she looked like, but I will do battle with anyone who denies her superlative good looks. To those who may object that such a scene is rare in the home life of house agents living immediately to the north of Kensington High Street, I shall be compelled to admit, not that the scene was unreal, but that I saw it through a window much more wonderful than the window in the tower. I saw it through the proscenium arch of a toy theatre constructed by my father, and that the young man in the crown was about 6 inches high and proved on investigation to be made of cardboard. I have no shadow of recollection of what the young man was doing on the bridge, or of what he proposed to do with the key, though a later and wearier knowledge of literature and legend hints to me that he was not improbably going to release the lady from captivity. All the rest is gone. Scenes, subject, story, characters. But that one scene glows in my memory like a glimpse of some incredible paradise. And for all I know, I shall still remember it when all other memory is gone out of my mind. Early impressions count considerably in life. All my life I have loved edges and the boundary lines that bring one thing sharply against another, prosceniums and frames, limits. And I will maintain that the largest wilderness looks larger seen through a window. I've said that the toy theatre was made by my father. It is therefore to him that I owe so much for this first picture of life. My father was the head of a hereditary business of house agents and surveyors, which had already been established for some 3 generations in Kensington. My people belonged to that rather old-fashioned English middle class. And one peculiarity of this middle class was that it really was a class, and it really was in the middle. Both for good and evil, and certainly often to excess, it was separated both from the class above it and the class below. It knew far too little of the working classes, to the grave peril of a later generation. It knew far too little even of its own servants. There was a sort of silence and embarrassment between them. A lady of my family went to live in a friend's house during the friend's absence, to be waited on by a sort of superior servant. Now, the lady had got it fixed in her head that the servant cooked her own meals separately, whereas the servant was equally fixed on the policy of eating what was left over from the lady's meals. Now, the servant sent up for breakfast, say, 5 rashers of bacon, which was more than the lady wanted. But the lady had another fixed freak of conscience common in the ladies of the period. She thought that nothing should be wasted, and could not see that even a thing consumed is wasted if not wanted. She ate the 5 rashers. The servant consequently sent up 7 rashers. The lady paled a little, but followed the path of duty and ate them all. The servant, beginning to feel that she too would like a little breakfast, sent up 9 or 10 rashers. The lady, rallying all her powers, charged at them with her head down and swept them from the field. And so I suppose it went on, owing to the polite silence between the 2 social classes. I dare not think how it ended. The logical conclusion would seem to be that the servant starved and the lady burst. There's been frequent calls to refer to my size. On the occasion, for instance, of one of my many encounters with my good friend, Mr. George Bernard Shaw, he prodded a finger into this ample and now notorious part of my anatomy and said, "What are you going to call it?" I said, well, if it's a girl, I shall call it Elizabeth. If it's a boy, I shall call it Gilbert Keith. But if it's just wind, I shall call it George Bernard Shaw. And on a similar occasion, I patted Shaw on his non-existent tummy and said, "I see there's been a famine." And he patted me back and said, "Yes, and we can see why, can't we?" But to return to my beginnings, the old middle class really was an educated class. It attached rather too much importance to spelling correctly. It attached enormous importance to speaking correctly, and it did spell and speak correctly. There was a whole world in which nobody was more likely to drop an H than to pick up a title. And this care about education and diction, though I can see much to criticize in it now, did have its good side. It meant my father knew all his English literature backwards, and that I knew a great deal of it by heart long before I could get it into my head. I knew pages of Shakespeare's blank verse without a notion of the meaning of most of it, which is perhaps the right way to begin to appreciate verse. And it's also recorded of me that at the age of 6 or 7 I walked down the street, excitedly reciting the words, "Good Hamlet, cast this nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust." At which appropriate moment I tripped and pitched forward on my nose. I used to say that the account of my own life ought to consist of a series of short stories like those of Sherlock Holmes. Only his were astonishing examples of observation and mine astonishing examples of lack of observation. The tale is told that I once sent a telegram to my wife in London which read, "Am in Market Harborough. Where ought I to be?" I cannot remember whether this story is true, but it's not unlikely, or I think unreasonable. Perhaps it would be the exaggeration of eulogy to call me a tidy person, but I can always pretty satisfactorily account for all my possessions. I can always tell where they are and what I've done with them, so long as I can keep them out of my pockets. If once anything slips into these unknown abysses, I wave it a sad Virgilian farewell. The same presumption applies to the things I've dropped into the sea. They tell us that on the last day the sea will give up its dead, and I suppose that on that same occasion long strings of extraordinary things will come running out of my pockets. But I've forgotten what any of them are. A railway ticket. 3rd class, Oxford to London. I'm going to tell you a story. I will not say that this story is true, because as you will soon see, it is all truth and no story. It has no explanation and no conclusion. It is, like most of the other things we encounter in life, a fragment of something else which would be intensely exciting if it were not too large to be seen. My experience was a fragment of this nature, and it is at any rate not fictitious. Not only am I not making up the incidents, what there were of them, but I'm not making up the atmosphere or the landscape, which were the whole horror of the thing. I remember them vividly, and they were truly as I shall now describe. About noon of an ashen autumn day some years ago, I was standing outside the station at Oxford, intending to take the train to London. And for some reason, out of idleness, or the emptiness of my mind, or the emptiness of the pale grey sky, or the cold, a kind of caprice fell upon me that I would not go by that train at all, but would step out on the road and walk at least part of the way to London. Now, I do not know if other people are made like me in this matter, but for me, it's always dreary weather that stings into life a sense of action and romance. On bright blue days, I do not want anything to happen. The world is complete and beautiful, a thing for contemplation. But when the background of a man's life is a grey background, then I desire to paint on it in fire and gore. So the monotonous weather seemed to render unbearable the use of the monotonous train, and I set out into the country lanes out of the town of Oxford. When I had walked for some hours, the evening was closing in. A sickly sunset clung to the horizon, as if pale with reluctance to leave the world in the dark. And as it faded more and more, the skies seemed to come closer and to threaten. The clouds, which had been merely sullen, became swollen. And then they loosened and let down the dark curtains of the rain. The rain was blinding and seemed to beat like blows from an enemy at close quarters. The skies seemed to be bending over and bawling in my ears. I walked on many more miles before I met a man. In that distance, my mind had been made up, and when I met him, I asked him if anywhere in the neighbourhood I could pick up the train for London. He directed me to a small, silent station which stood well away from the road and looked as lonely as a hut on the Andes. I do not think I have ever seen such a thing as that station. It looked as if it had been raining there since the creation of the world. The water streamed from the soaking wood of it as if it were not water at all, but some loathsome liquid corruption of the wood itself, as if the solid station were eternally falling to pieces and pouring away in filth. It took me nearly 10 minutes to find a man in the station. When I did, he was a dull one. And when I asked him if there was a train to London, his answer was sleepy and vague. But as far as I could understand him, he said there would be a train in about half an hour. I sat down and lit a cigar and waited, watching the last tail of the tattered sunset and listening to the everlasting rain. It may have been in half an hour or less that a train came rather slowly into the station. It was an unnaturally dark train. I could not see a light anywhere in the long black body of it, and I could not see any guard, so I was reduced to walking up to the engine and calling out to the stoker to ask if the train was going to London. "Well, yes, sir," he said with an unaccountable kind of reluctance. "It's going to London, but..." And even as he spoke, it was just starting, and I jumped into the first carriage. It was pitch dark. I sat there, smoking and wondering, as we steamed through the continually darkening landscape lined with desolate poplars, until he slowed down and stopped irrationally in the middle of a field. I heard a heavy noise, as if someone clambering off the train, and a dark, ragged head suddenly put itself in the window. "Excuse me, sir," said the stoker, "but I think perhaps you ought to know there's a dead man in this train." I regret to say I expressed myself politely but firmly to the effect that I didn't care so much as long as the train took me to London. But when it had started again with its unknown burden, I did do one thing, and that quite instinctively, without stopping to think. I threw away my cigar, something that is as old as man and has to do with all mourning and ceremonial, told me to do it. There was something unnecessarily horrible, it seemed to me, in the idea of there being only 2 men in that train, one of them dead and the other smoking a cigar. And as the red and gold of the butt end of it faded like a funeral torch trampled out at some symbolic moment of a procession, I realized the origin and essence of all ritual. That in the presence of these sacred riddles, about which we can say nothing, it is often more decent merely to do something. And I realize that ritual will always mean throwing away something, destroying our corn or wine upon the altar of the gods. When the train panted at last into Paddington Station, I sprang out of it with a newly released curiosity. There was a barrier of officials guarding the rear part of the train. No one was allowed to press towards it. They were guarding and hiding something. Perhaps death in some too shocking form, so mixed up with human mystery and wickedness that the law had to give it a sort of sanctity. I went out gladly enough into the streets and saw the lamps shining on the laughing faces. Nor have I ever known, from that day to this, what strange story I had wandered into, or what frightful thing was my companion in the dark. One day, as I was leaving London for a holiday, a friend walked into my flat in Battersea and found me surrounded with half-packed luggage. "You seem to be off on your travels," he said. "Where are you going?" "To Battersea," I replied. "The wit of your remark escapes me," he said. "I am going to Battersea," I repeated, "via Paris, Heidelberg, and Frankfurt." My remark contained no wit, it contained simple truth. I am going to wander over the whole world until once more I find Battersea. Somewhere in the seas of sunset or of sunrise, somewhere in the ancient archipelago of the earth, there is one little island which I wish to find, an island of low green hills and great white cliffs. Travellers tell me that it is called England. Scottish travellers tell me that it is called Britain. And there is a rumour that somewhere in the heart of it there is a beautiful place called Battersea. I suppose it's unnecessary to tell you that this is Battersea, said my friend with an air of intellectual compassion. It's quite unnecessary, I said, and it is spiritually untrue. I cannot see any Battersea here. I cannot see any London or any England. I cannot see that door. I cannot see that chair, because a cloud of sleep and custom has come across my eyes. The only way to go back to them is to go somewhere else. The whole object of travel is not to set foot in foreign lands. It is at last to set foot on one's own country as a foreign land. The only way to go to England is to go away from it. And when after only a month's travelling I did come back to England, I was startled to find that I had told the exact truth. England did break upon me, at once beautifully new and beautifully old. A poem by me. Before the Roman came to Rye, or out to Severn strode, the rolling English drunkard made the rolling English road. A reeling road, a rolling road that rambles round the shire, and after him the parson ran, the sexton and the squire. A merry road, a mazy road, and such as we did tread, the night we went to Birmingham by way of Beachy Head. I knew no harm of Bonaparte and plenty of the squire, and for to fight the Frenchmen I did not much desire. But I did bash their bagonets, because they came arrayed to straighten out the crooked road an English drunkard made, where you and I went down the lane with ale mugs in our hands, the night we went to Glastonbury by way of Goodwin Sands. His sins, they were forgiven him, or why do flowers run behind him, and the hedges all strengthening in the sun? The wild thing went from left to right, and knew not which was which, but the wild rose was above him when they found him in the ditch. God pardon us, nor harden us, we did not see so clear, the night we went to Bannockburn by way of Brighton Pier. My friends, we will not go again, nor ape at ancient rage, or stretch the folly of our youth to be the shame of age, but walk with clearer eyes and ears this path that wandereth, and see undrugged in evening light the decent inn of death. For there is good news yet to hear, and fine things to be seen, before we go to paradise by way of Kensal Green. In the early days, it was my fate to wander over many parts of England, delivering what were politely called lectures. There was a considerable appetite for such bleak entertainment, especially in the north of England, and among certain active nonconformist centres, even in the suburbs of London. Oh, with the mention of bleakness, there comes back to me the memory of one particular chapel, lying in the last featureless wastes to the north of London, to which I actually had to make my way through a blinding snowstorm, which I enjoyed very much because I like snowstorms. I was exposed to the elements for nearly 2 hours, and by the time I arrived at the chapel, I must have roughly resembled the snowman the children make in the garden. I proceeded to lecture, God knows on what, and was about to resume my wintry journey when the worthy minister of the chapel, robustly rubbing his hands and slapping his chest and beaming at me with the rich hospitality of Father Christmas, said in a deep, hearty, fruity voice, "Come, Mr. Chesterton, it's a bitter cold night. Do let me offer you an arrowroot biscuit." I assured him gratefully that I felt no such craving. I confess that the thought of returning through the snow and freezing blast for 2 more hours with the glow of that one biscuit within me, and the arrowroot fire running through my veins, struck me as a little out of proportion. I fear it was with considerable pleasure that I crossed the road and entered a public house immediately opposite the chapel, under the very eyes of the nonconformist conscience. Oh, once I was nearly arrested by 2 excited policemen in Yorkshire. I was on holiday. I was engaged in that rich and intricate mass of pleasures which we disguise by the exoteric name of nothing. At the moment in question, I was throwing a big Swedish knife at a tree, practicing that useful trick by which in Stevenson's romances men murder each other. Suddenly, the forest was full of two policemen. They asked what the knife was, who I was, why I was throwing it, what my address was, trade, religion, opinion on the Japanese war, name a favorite cat, and so on. They also said I was damaging the tree, which was, I'm sorry to say, not true because I could not hit it. After some half hour's animated conversation, the exhibition of an envelope, an unfinished poem, which was read with great care, and I trust some profit, the elder of the two knights became convinced that I really was what I professed to be. That I was a journalist, that I was on the Daily News, that I lived in a particular place, that I was at present stopping with particular people in Yorkshire who happened to be wealthy and well-known in the neighbourhood. The policeman acquitted me and let me pass. But, I said, what of the mangled tree? It was to the rescue of that tree, once a giant of the forest, now splintered and laid low by the brute superiority of a Swedish knife, that you rushed like knights errant. The facts of which I have just convinced you, that my name is Chesterton and that I am living with the well-known and philanthropic Mr. Blank of Ilkley, cannot have anything to do with the question of whether I have been guilty of cruelty to vegetables. I made the larger part of this speech to the empty wood, for the two policemen had vanished almost as quickly as they had come. It's very possible, of course, that they were elves. In that case, the somewhat illogical character of their view of crime, law, and personal responsibility would find a bright and elvish explanation. Perhaps if I had lingered in the glade till moonrise, I might have seen rings of tiny policemen dancing on the sward, or running about with glowworm lamps, arresting grasshoppers for damaging blades of grass. But taking the bolder hypothesis that they really were policemen, I found myself in a certain difficulty. I was certainly accused of something which was either an offence or was not. I was let off because it was proved I was a guest at a well-known house. The inference seems painfully clear. Either it is not a proof of infamy to throw a knife about in a lonely wood, or else it is a proof of innocence to know a rich man. Some time ago, while I was meditating upon morality, I was, so to speak, snatched up and put in a jury box to try people. I was put into this jury box because I lived in Battersea and my name began with the C. Looking round me, I saw that there were also summoned in attendance in the courts whole crowds and processions of men, all of whom lived in Battersea and all of whose names began with a C. It seems that they always summon jurymen in this sweeping alphabetical way. At one official blow, Battersea is denuded of all its C's and left to get on as best it can with the rest of the alphabet. We settle down with a rollicking ease in our seats, for we are a devil-may-care race, the C's of Battersea. And an oath was administered to us in an almost inaudible manner. We understood, however, that we were to well and truly try the case between our sovereign lord the king and the prisoner at the bar, neither of whom had as yet put in an appearance. Just as I was wondering whether the king and the prisoner were perhaps coming to an amicable understanding in some adjoining public house, the prisoner's head appeared above the barrier of the dock. He was accused of stealing bicycles and was the great image of a good friend of mine. We did well and truly try the case between the king and the prisoner, and we came to the conclusion that the king was in no way implicated. Then we passed on to a woman who had neglected her children and who looked as if somebody or something had neglected her. Never have I stood so close to pain. And out of this came a curious realization of a political or social truth. I saw with an indescribable kind of clearness what a jury really is and why we must never let it go. The trend of our epoch has been consistently towards specialism and professionalism. We tend to have trained soldiers because they fight better, trained singers because they sing better, trained dancers because they dance better, and so on and so on. And the principle has been applied to law and politics. Now, one of the 4 or 5 paradoxes which should be taught to every infant prattling at his mother's knee is the following: that the more a man looks at a thing, the less he can see it. And the more a man learns a thing, the less he knows it. It is a terrible business to mark out a man for vengeance, but it is a thing to which a man can grow accustomed, as he can to other terrible things. The horrible thing about all legal officials, even the best, about all judges, magistrates, barristers, detectives, and policemen, is not that they're wicked. Some of them are quite good. Not that they're stupid. Several of them are quite intelligent. It's simply that they've got used to it. Strictly, they do not see the prisoner in the dock. All they see is the usual man in the usual place. They do not see their awful court of judgment. They see only their own workshop. Therefore, the instinct of Christian civilization has most wisely declared that into their judgments there shall upon every occasion be infused fresh blood and fresh thoughts from the streets. Men shall come in who can see the court and see the crowd, and the coarse faces of policemen and professional criminals, the wasted faces of the wastrels, the unreal faces of the gesticulating counsel, and see it all as one sees a new picture or a play hitherto unvisited. Our civilization has decided that determining the guilt and innocence of men is a thing too important to be trusted to trained men. It wishes for light upon that awful matter, so it asks men who know no more law than I know, but who can feel the things that I felt in that jury box. When it wants a library catalogued or a solar system discovered or any trifle of that kind, it uses up its specialists. But when it wishes anything done which is really serious, it collects 12 ordinary men. The same thing was done, if I remember correctly, by the founder of Christianity. Another poem. The Donkey. When fishes flew and forests walked and figs grew upon thorn, some moment when the moon was blood, then surely I was born. With monstrous head and sickening cry, and ears like errant wings, the devil's walking parody on all four-footed things. The tattered outlaw of the earth, of ancient crooked will, starve, scourge, deride me. I am dumb, I keep my secret still. Fools, for I also had my hour, one far fierce hour and sweet. There was a shout about my ears, and palms before my feet. When people ask me, or indeed anybody else, why did you join the Church of Rome? The first essential answer, if it is partly an elliptical answer, is to get rid of my sins. For there is no other religious system that does really profess to get rid of people's sins. It's confirmed by the logic, which to many seems startling, by which the Church deduces that sin confessed and adequately repented is actually abolished, and that the sinner does really begin again, as if he had never sinned. And this brought me sharply back to those visions of childhood, the indescribable and indestructible certitude in the soul, that those first years of innocence were the beginning of something worthy, perhaps more worthy than any of the things that actually followed them. I spoke of the strange daylight, which was something more than the light of common day, that still seems in my memory to shine on those steep roads down from Camden Hill, from which one could see the Crystal Palace from afar. Well, when a Catholic comes from confession, he does truly, by definition, step out again into that dawn of his own beginning and look with new eyes across the world to a Crystal Palace that really is of crystal. He believes in the dim corner and in that brief ritual. God has really remade him in his own image. He's now a new experiment of the Creator. He's as much a new experiment as he was when he was 5 years old. He stands, as I said, in the white light at the worthy beginning of the life of a man. The accumulations of time can no longer terrify. He may be grey and gouty, but he is only 5 minutes old. I've sometimes been haunted with a vague story about a wild and fantastic uncle, the enemy of parents and the cause of revolution in the nurseries, who went about preaching a certain theory. I mean, the theory that all the objects which children use at Christmas for what we call riotous or illegitimate purposes were originally created for those purposes, and not for the humdrum household purposes which they now serve. For instance, we will suppose that the story begins with a pillow fight in a night nursery, and boys buffeting and bashing each other with those white and shapeless clubs. The uncle, who would be a professor of immense learning and even greater imagination and inventiveness, would proceed to make himself unpopular with parents and popular with children by proving that the pillow in prehistoric art is obviously designed to be a club, that the sham fight in the night nursery is actually more ancient and authoritative than the whole institution of beds and bedclothes, that in some innocent morning of the world, such cherubim warred on each other with such clouds, possibly made of white samite, mystic, wonderful, and stuffed with feathers from the angels' wings, and that it was only afterwards, when weariness fell upon the world and the young gods had grown tired of their godlike sports, that they slept with their heads upon these weapons. And so, by a gradual dislocation of the whole original purpose of a pillow, it came to be recognized as having its proper place on a bed. Any number of these legends could be launched with ease and grace and general gratification. It would be urged to eagerly assenting little boys that catapults are really older and more majestic than windows. Windows were merely targets set up for catapults, clear and fragile, that such archaic archers might be rewarded with a crash and sparkle of crystal. That it was only after the oppressive priesthood of the Middle Paleolithic had ruthlessly suppressed the catapult culture that people had gradually come to use the now useless glass targets for purposes of light and ventilation. Similarly, butter was originally used solely for the purpose of making butter slides in the paths of parents and guardians. And it was only by a late accident in the life of some prominent, though prostrate citizen who happened to lick the pavement that its edible qualities were discovered. True, I cannot set forth here in any great detail any actual proofs of these prehistoric origins, but it seems to me we have as much right to imagine cheerful origins as, for instance, Dr. Freud has to imagine gloomy ones. And we beg to announce with the same authority that everything began with a celestial pillow fight of cherubs, and that the whole world was made entirely for the games of children. Mentioning an uncle is enough to recall even wider memories. One of my first is playing in the garden under the care of a girl with ropes of golden hair, to whom my mother called out from the house, "You are an angel," which I was disposed to accept without metaphor. She's now living in Vancouver as Mrs. Kidd. I was once interviewed on one of those programs on the wireless in which the person being interrogated was asked a series of standard questions, among which was the following. if you were marooned on a desert island, which book would you most like to have with you? Naturally, many who were asked this question answered it variously. Some said Shakespeare, Milton, Dickens, and so on. Not a few said the Bible. I must confess I took a different view of this matter, and I said that should I find myself under such circumstances, the book I would most like to have with me would be Thomson's Guide to Practical Boat Building. There was another time when I was asked what I thought of Mr. George Bernard Shaw. I had no difficulty in answering that I thought of Mr. George Bernard Shaw very much as I had always thought of him. I actually wrote a book about him in the ancient days, and I'm happy to say that he reviewed it himself. With the typical opening, "This is the best work of literary art that I have yet provoked." I was destined to see some of Shaw's skylarking on one occasion, and to be privileged to play the fool with him far from the political platform, if not so very far from the theatrical stage. It began by Bernard Shaw coming to my house in Beaconsfield in the heartiest spirits and proposing that we should appear together, disguised as cowboys, in a film of some sort projected by Sir James Barrie. I will not describe the purpose or character of the performance, because nobody ever discovered it, with the exception, presumably, of Sir James. But throughout the proceedings, even Barry had the appearance of concealing his secret from himself. All I could gather was that two other well-known persons, Lord Howard de Walden and Mr. William Archer, the grave Scottish critic and translator of Ibsen, had also consented to be cowboys. "Well," I said, after a somewhat blank pause of reflection, "God forbid that anyone should say that I could not see a joke if Mr. William Archer could see it." Then, after a pause, I asked, "But what is the joke?" Shaw replied with hilarious vagueness that nobody knew what the joke was. That was the joke. The mysterious proceeding divided itself into two parts. One consisted of an appointment in a sort of abandoned brickfield somewhere in the wilds of Essex, in which spot, it was alleged, our cow-punching costumes were already concealed. The other consisted of an invitation to supper at the Savoy to talk things over with Barry and Granville Barker. I kept both these melodramatic assignations, and though neither of them threw any light upon what we were supposed to be doing, they were both very amusing in their way, and rather different from what one might have expected. We went down to the wasteland in Essex, and found our Wild West equipment. But considerable indignation was felt against William Archer, who, with true Scottish foresight, arrived there first and put on the best pair of trousers. They were indeed a magnificent pair of fur trousers, while the other three riders of the prairie had to be content with canvas trousers. A running commentary upon this piece of individualism continued throughout the afternoon, while we were being rolled in barrels, roped over fake precipices, and eventually turned loose in a field to lasso wild ponies, which were so tame that they ran after us instead of our running after them, and nosed in our pockets for pieces of sugar. Whatever may be the strain on credulity, it's also a fact that we all got onto the same motor bicycle, the wheels of which were spun round under us to produce the illusion of hurtling like a thunderbolt down the mountain pass. When the rest finally vanished over the cliffs, clinging to the rope, they left me behind as a necessary weight to secure it. And Granville Barker kept calling out to me to register self-sacrifice and register resignation, which I did with such wild and sweeping gestures as occurred to me, not, I am proud to say, without general applause. Now, about this time, Barry, with his little figure behind his large pipe, was standing about in an impenetrable manner, and nothing could extract from him the faintest indication of why we were being put through these ordeals. It was as if the smoke that rose from that pipe was a vapor not only of magic, but of black magic. But the other half of the mystery was, if possible, more mysterious. It was all the more mysterious because it was public, not to say crowded. I went to the Savoy supper under the impression that Barry and Barker would explain to a small party some small part of the scheme. Instead of that, I found the stage of the Savoy Theatre thronged with nearly everybody in London, as the society papers say when they mean everybody in society. From the Prime Minister, Mr. Asquith, to the most cryptic Oriental attaché, they were all there dining at little tables and talking about everything but the matter at hand. At least, they were all there except Sir James Barry, who on this occasion made himself almost completely invisible. Towards the end of the meal, Sir Edward Elgar casually remarked to my wife, "I suppose you know you're being filmed all this time." From what I know of my wife, it's unlikely that she was brandishing a champagne bottle or otherwise attracting social attention. But some of them were throwing bread about and showing marked relaxation from the cares of state. Then, the original four, whom destiny had selected for a wild western life, were approached with private instructions, which worked out in public as follows. The stage was cleared, and the company adjourned to the auditorium, where Bernard Shaw harangued them in a furious speech with savage gesticulations, denouncing Barker and Barry, and finally drawing a sword. The other three of us rose at this signal, also brandishing swords, and stormed the stage, going out through the back scenery. And there we, whoever we were, disappear forever from the record and reasonable understanding of mankind. For never from that day to this has the faintest light been thrown on the reasons for our remarkable behavior. I have since heard in a remote and roundabout way a certain vague suggestion to the effect that there was some symbolical notion of our vanishing from real life and being captured or caught up in the film world of romance, being engaged through all the rest of the play in struggling to fight our way back to reality. Whether this was the idea, I have never known for certain. I only know that I received immediately afterwards a friendly and apologetic note from Sir James Barry saying that the whole scheme was going to be dropped. I do not know, but I have often wondered, and have sometimes fancied that there was another sense, darker than my own fancy, in which the secret put in Barry's pipe had ended in smoke. There had really been a sort of unearthly unreality in all the levity of those last hours, like something high and shrill that might crack. And it did crack. I've sometimes wondered whether it was felt that this fantasy of fashionable London would appear incongruous with something that happened some days later. For what happened then was that a certain ultimatum went out from the Austrian government against Serbia. I rang up Maurice Baring at a further stage of that rapidly developing business, and I can remember the tones of his voice when he said, "We've got to fight. They've all got to fight. I don't see how anybody can help it." If the cowboys were indeed struggling to find the road back to reality, they found it all right. The aim of life is appreciation. There's no sense in not appreciating things. And there's no sense in having more of them if you have less appreciation of them. I once said that a Cockney lamppost painted pea green was better than no light or no life, and that if it was a lonely lamppost, we might really see its light better against the background of the dark. The modern millionaire comes bustling along the street to tell me he is an optimist and has 2,005,000 new lampposts, already painted not a Victorian pea green, but a futuristic chrome yellow and electric blue, and that he will plant them over the whole world in such numbers that nobody will notice them, especially as they will all look exactly the same. And I cannot quite see what the optimist has got to be optimistic about. A lamppost can be significant although it is ugly. But he's not making lampposts significant, he's making them insignificant. In short, as it seems to me, it matters very little whether a man is discontented if his discontent paralyzes his power of appreciating what he has got. The real difficulty of man is not to enjoy lampposts or landscapes, not to enjoy dandelions or chops, but to enjoy enjoyment. To keep the capacity of really liking what he likes. That is the practical problem which the philosopher has to solve. And it seemed to me at the beginning, as it seems to me now in the end, that the pessimists and optimists of the modern world have alike missed and muddled the matter through leaving out the ancient conception of humility and the thanks of the unworthy. And as I begin to believe more and more that a clue was to be found in such principles, even if it was a paradox, I was more and more disposed to seek out those who specialized in humility, though for them it was the door of heaven, and for me, the door of earth. For me, my end is my beginning, and this overwhelming conviction that there is one key which can unlock all doors brings me back to my first glimpse of the glorious gift of the senses and the sensational experience of sensation. And there starts up again before me, standing sharp and clear as in old, the figure of a man who crosses a bridge and who carries a key, as I saw him when I first looked into fairyland through the window of my father's toy theatre. Thank you, and good day.
You've been listening to GKC by Tony Van Bridge, the last in this year's Bell Canada Reading Series from the Shaw Festival. It was based on the writings of G.K. Chesterton and adapted and directed by Christopher Newton and Tony Van Bridge. In the part of Gilbert Keith Chesterton, you heard Neil Barclay. The Bell Canada Reading Series is recorded live at the Royal George Theatre in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, with special thanks going to Bill Talbot, Jim Smagata, and Christine Oakey. The recording engineer was Joe Mahoney, and the producer of the Bell Canada Reading Series is Barbara Worthy. Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Playhouse. I'm Damiano Pietropaolo and I'm here at the Royal George Theatre in Niagara-on-the-Lake, home of the Shaw Festival, with artistic director Jackie Maxwell for the third of this season's Bell Canada Reading Series. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Damiano.
Well, I understand we're about to hear something a little different.
We are indeed. The Place of the Lion. It's a metaphysical thriller about alien powers let loose to walk on Earth.
Sort of Hitchcock meets Orson Welles?
Absolutely. It's by Charles Williams, and it's directed and adapted by our resident director, Neil Monroe, who, as you know, can be relied upon to find many a rare gem.
Yes, indeed. Williams is very much a forgotten figure of literature these days, though, is he not?
Yeah, unfortunately. He was writing between the two world wars, and he wrote novels that were a mix of religion and romance. And as Neil says, he was wickedly smart, with a voice laced with a poet's taste for imagery and high Anglican romance. Now, how does that grab you?
I'm intrigued. Shall we?
After you.
The Lioness. From the top of the bank behind a sparse hedge of thorn, the lioness stared at the Hertfordshire road.
She moved her head from side to side.
Then, suddenly, she became rigid.
As if she'd scented prey. Crouched lower.
Body trembling. Tail swishing.
No sound.
It's dark.
Quentin Sabat.
It is, rather.
Anthony Durant. I don't see this bus of yours.
They were strolling in the dark.
I was just thinking, it might be a good thing if we all had to draw a map of our own mind, say every 5 years. You know, all the chief towns marked, all the arterial roads connecting one idea to another and to another.
Yes, with all those abandoned bylanes you never go down because the farms they lead to are all empty.
That's right. Lots of arrows showing directions to pointless places.
Yes. Like that light bobbing about over there. See it?
Lanterns?
Dozen or so.
Mortality, as usual, carries its own star.
Oi! You there!
I say, do you think at last I found someone who needs me?
Oh, steady on. They're armed.
4 or 5 had rifles.
2 with pitchforks. Others heavy sticks.
Didn't you hear the warning that's been sent out?
Sorry?
Sent a man out. Where have you been? You didn't meet him. Sitting on a gate, waiting for a bus, old bean.
There'll be some wait, lad. Bus don't run
Fact
this
is,
late.
there's a lioness loose somewhere around here, and we're after her. Devil there is.
Got away from a damn wild beast show.
Oh, you gentlemen had better get straight ahead, fast as you can.
Oh, well, all the best.
Good hunting. What enormous fun. Lioness. What should we do if we see it?
Bolt, I should think.
They were walking faster.
Do you save me by luring it after you, or do I save you by luring it after me?
You save me, thank you.
Faster.
Do you still think ideas are more dangerous than material things? That's what you said at lunch.
All material danger is limited, whereas interior danger is
Breaking into
unlimited.
a light canter now.
I think this lioness is more pressing danger than any of your intellectual terrors are likely to be.
Roger that.
Running.
A long, low body had slithered down the right-hand bank of the road.
Paused for a moment.
Turned its head.
Switched its tail.
And then it began to move in their direction.
But the 2 young men were
The
up
two
and
young
over
men
a
were
gate.
up and over a gate and down a short garden path into the dark shelter of an old house.
Into the dark shelter of an old house.
The moon wasn't high, and it lay faintly on the garden.
On the gate.
On the road.
And there,
halting on her way,
the lioness.
I say, look, there. Another figure appeared on the lawn.
A man.
We ought to warn him.
No, best to stay
the
quiet.
lioness, as if startled, made one leap over the gate.
One leap over the gate, and her flying form seemed to collide
with the man.
The shadows settled.
The shadows settled, and the garden became clear.
Anthony and Quentin saw before
them a man lying on the ground.
And standing over him, the shape of a full-grown
and tremendous lion.
Then, majestically, it passed onward and entered into the dark shadows of the trees.
That was a lion.
Well, what about the lioness?
2 escaped animals?
Good Lord.
Yes.
Quite.
The mysterious Mr. Beringer.
Hello!
It was the man with whom the friends had talked before.
Oh, it's you 2, is it?
He went straight to the prostrate man.
Touched him here and there.
No wounds. What happened?
We saw the lioness. He did too.
Name's Beringer. Lives here.
Let's get him inside.
However, when they tried to slip their arms underneath, they could not at first lift him.
When at last their combined efforts did raise him, he was carried along the front of the house. But when they tried to turn the
corner, they found an unplaceable difficulty in doing so.
We're stuck.
Can't move.
Got to.
Can't. Got to.
What's happening?
Yes. Now, here, on the bed. By the way, it was a lioness, wasn't it? Not a lion? There's no lions in these parts, lad. This is England. Well, if it is, and there isn't, and you're sure, you must be right, eh, what?
I suppose this is all a bit of a joke to you.
No, I wasn't joking.
Actually, he's renowned for not having a sense of humor. Come on, Quentin, we're in the way. Yeah.
Nice to have run into you all. Ta-ta.
Now there's a queer pair.
Yes. Fit for what, would you think?
the Idola and the Angeli.
Damaris Tighe had had a bad night, and she particularly needed her sleep in order to be quite fresh every day to cope with her thesis.
The Pythagorean influence on Abelard.
There were moments when she wished that she hadn't chosen quite so remote a thesis.
It was just that all the later scholars had been done to death, whereas the Pythagorean influence on Abelard seemed to have been left for her to do to death.
She had so far a list of
18 close identifications.
Yes, it's really quite awful.
23 cases of probable traditional views.
We hear that he's quite comatose.
And 85 less distinct relationships.
You didn't really know Mr. Beringer that well, did you? He was such a wonderful man. Well, he probably still is. But of course, if he's unconscious, I doubt if he'd be quite up to it. So we all thought how marvelous it would be if you could see your way to taking his place.
I'm sorry, my way?
We thought you might fill Mr. Beringer's place and read us something. Something in Plato, perhaps. Mr. Beringer was particularly partial to Plato.
Well, I do have a little something on the relation of Platonic and medieval thought.
I knew you'd help us.
It's called the Idola and the Angeli. It's a comparison between the subplatonic philosophers on the one side and the commentators on Dionysius the Areopagite on the other.
Yes. You tell us all about it tonight. Thank you so very much. Goodbye then, till 8:30.
After tidying up her papers, Damaris Tighe went in to dinner.
And in to her father.
Dad.
Never seen so many butterflies. There's a great big one on the oak at the top of the hill. Couldn't recognize it. Brown and gold. Oh, a lovely, lovely thing. Glinting and glowing. Oh, good mutton.
Really, Father? If it was as beautiful as all that, how can you go on eating mutton and potatoes? Plato says that one should rise from the phenomenal to the abstract beauty and thence to the absolute.
Well, mutton helps butterflies and butterflies help mutton. And it was a marvel, you know. They don't come in brown and gold.
In a rare mood of benignity.
Due no doubt to her hopes for her paper.
She began to talk about the improvements in the maid's cooking.
If time had to be wasted, it had better be wasted on neutral instead of irritating subjects.
And so, Damaris competently wasted time until it was time to get ready for the meeting.
Butterflies and butterflies help mutton.
At the meeting.
Well, I adore Shakespeare. He stands absolute master of his own intellectual landscape.
Brutally lyrical, isn't he?
Actually, it's turning out he was a shocking plagiarist.
What on earth do you
Turns
mean?
out that when he wrote Egypt, you are dying, somebody else had already said England is dying because the sheep are eating men.
Really?
Hello, Sir Thomas More or something like that.
You all heard that our dear leader, Mr. Beringer, has passed into a state of unconsciousness. However, it seemed a pity to omit our monthly meeting merely because our leader is in, shall I say, another state. Therefore, Miss Damaris Tighe, known to all of us as a deep student of philosophy, has agreed to speak to us tonight on a subject of much mutual interest. What is it, dear?
The Idola and the Angeli.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Damaris Tighe.
Ladies and gentlemen, I fear I'm a very inadequate substitute for Mr. Beringer. But perhaps what I have to offer may not be altogether without interest. Philosophy has always been a favorite subject of human study. In our age of science and learning, we appreciate philosophical thinking through the ages with sympathy, if not agreement. For instance, I'm not prepared to call Plato the gross fat, as was once done.
Oh, goodness.
Where is it coming from? In the Middle Ages, there were supposed to be various classes of angels who were given exact names. In descending order.
Look!
They were...
Oh, my God! It's on the floor! It's the snake! It's the crowned snake!
Did you see the snake, Mrs. Rothbotham?
No, Mr. Richardson. Dora Wilmot may be a fool, but she's always been sincere.
Can't you see it? Look!
Well, Dora, dear, what's it doing? I can't see it.
It's gliding about.
Gliding about?
It's looking around.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I have to get out of here.
The room lay empty and still. There passed across it then a dim form, which, heavy, long, and coiling, issued slowly through the open window into a silent world.
Antony and Damaris.
Oh, Damaris, I think you're just playing with me.
Don't be absurd, Antony.
I come and I go, and you will and you won't.
Antony, I cannot think about marriage until I've got my degree. Now, of course, if you think more of yourself than of me...
Well, of course I do. Who doesn't? I'm not a saint or some kind of Alexandrian Gnostic.
Antony, look, we both like each other...
Oh, Damaris, I don't like you a bit. I think you're detestable. But I'm wildly in love with you, and I know you're not. But I also know that your only chance of salvation is to marry me.
Salvation? From what, I'd like to know?
From who you really are. Nobody else will give you such a difficult and unpleasant time. With me, you'll never be comfortable, but you may be glorious. Better think it over.
I hate being bad friends with you.
I hate being good friends with you. Come here.
Why?
Oh, darling.
What, darling?
Oh, my God. What's the matter with your drains? And now it's gone. It was like a corpse. It's your drains.
No, I smelled it last night at the meeting.
It's your drains. Anyhow, I must be off. Goodbye, and do think about your salvation.
If I ever feel in need of it, I will.
I love you.
The coming of the butterflies.
The next day, revolving the possibilities of a lioness being changed into a lion and Damaris being converted into a warm and loving creature, Antony walked into the road which he and Quentin had turned 2 days earlier.
There's a lovely golden brown one here, somewhere.
Damaris Ty's father.
Complete with the paraphernalia of active entomology.
What butterflies must have been once, eh?
Antony liked to talk to Mr. Ty.
Not much will be left of them sooner or later, except in the zoos. When we bring the trees down...
Well, the trees won't be cut down. What about irrigation and whatnot?
Oh, they'll be tame for us, and there'll be artificial butterflies, but the real thing will have gone.
Antony's eyes passed over the smooth grass of the lawn where, 2 nights before, he had seen the form of a lion.
Suddenly, with startled
amazement, he saw that in the center
of the garden, almost directly above
the place where he had seen the lion, there floated a butterfly.
A terrific, colossal butterfly.
2 feet or more across, from wingtip to wingtip.
It moved upward in spiral flutterings,
from which it seemed directly to fall close to the ground.
And then began again its upward sweep, again
hovered, and again fell.
Another brilliancy, much smaller, flashed through the air. It was an ordinary butterfly making its way towards its more gigantic image. And another followed it.
And another followed it. And another.
And another followed it.
And another followed it.
From way across the fields they came, in thick masses.
White,
yellow,
green, red,
purple,
blue, black.
All of them sweeping towards the great butterfly in the garden.
It rushed up towards them, and then, carrying a whirl of lesser iridescent fragilities with it,
precipitated itself down its deep descent.
Anthony caught his companion's arm.
Mr. Ty gobbled at the soft, glowing vision.
After times unreckoned had passed, lesser grew the clouds.
Smaller the flights.
Now but a score.
Now but a dozen.
Until the whole ravishing army had vanished.
The great butterfly of the garden rose.
Curvetting, it passed upwards towards the roof of the house.
Settled there for a moment, and then swept beyond it and vanished.
Glory! Glory! Oh, that I should have seen it. Blessed sight. What have I done to deserve it?
I say, it's all more than a tad queer, isn't it? Lions, butterflies, snakes. That stench. It's... Well, I don't know what it is, really.
No. Yes, I'll be going home now, feeling rather undone.
Quite. I shan't come back with you, if you don't mind.
No.
A little meditation, I fancy, is what I need.
Yes. Quite, yes. Cheerio, then.
Quite, yes.
And Anthony wandered off towards the station, making his way slowly back home towards London.
The two camps.
Back in their London flat, Anthony contemplated Quentin with bewilderment.
All on edge tonight. Don't know what's got into me. Yes, I do. It's all these damned lions and lionesses.
Oh, I must be wrong. It couldn't have been. I feel like an insult to a geometrical pattern.
I don't know what it is, but it's something, and I know that whatever that something is, it's after me.
Here, have a cigarette.
No, I don't really want one.
Come along now
thanks.
and have a cigarette.
All right, but don't bully me. It doesn't help. Good God, what's that?
It's the doorbell.
Don't let them in.
All right.
Tell them to... we're not here.
All right, Quentin. Quentin, this is Mr. Foster of Smetham.
Short, thick-set, firm face, large eyes.
Sit down, Mr. Foster, won't you?
Aye.
Now, why don't you tell my friend what you told me?
Miss Ty told me that you'd been to Mr. Beringer's house, and I thought it'd do no harm to compare notes.
I understand from Miss Ty that one of the ladies thought she saw a snake.
She thinks she saw a snake. Mr. Ty thinks he saw butterflies.
Butterflies?
He's been praying to his cabinets of butterflies for a day and a half now. Miss Ty was inclined to impatience.
Praying? Anthony, you were with him. What did you see?
Well, thousands of little fellows all flying into one huge fellow, and then they were gone.
Aaron's rod.
I beg your pardon?
Aaron's rod.
Saying it twice doesn't help.
That's the one that was turned into a snake and swallowed the other snakes.
I think the magicians of the Pharaoh may have seen Miss Wilmot's snake, and all their shapely wisdom was swallowed by it as the butterflies of the fields this afternoon were swallowed.
And Mr. Ty was praying to what?
To the gods that he knew.
The gods?
I came here to find out what you know of them.
Aren't we making rather an absurd fuss over this?
Don't think to escape the gods, young man, if they're really on your track.
I don't believe in the gods. I believe in London and the things we know.
Gentlemen, I have spent my life trying to see into the world of principles from which this world comes.
Dash that by me again, will you?
I believe that the world is created by the entrance of certain great principles into aboriginal matter, the powers of wisdom, courage, beauty, and so on. And when that which is behind them intends to put a new soul into matter, it is by a peculiar mingling of these powers that a child is born. And by this gentle introduction of them, mankind is maintained. In the animals, the powers are less mingled, for there each is shown to us in his own shape. The powers are the archetypes of the beasts, and much more, but we needn't go into that at the moment.
That's a relief.
There is a peculiar sympathy between these powers and the beasts of our world, but if one of those animals should be brought within the terrific influence of a power of one particular idea, the matter of the beast might be changed into the image of the idea, and our world, following that idea, might be drawn into their world. That is what I think is happening.
That's insane, isn't it?
What about this Beringer fellow?
It's through him that this world is passing into that. He and the house are the center.
Which is why everything happens in his garden?
Yes, if I'm right. If all this world is passing into that, then our knowledge will more and more be a knowledge of that and not of this. More and more everything will be received into its original. Animals, vegetables, everything.
Hold on, old chap. Are you talking about the end of the world?
Animals, vegetables, what about people?
Some will welcome it, as Mr. Ty has done, and they will be joined to that power which they best serve. Some will disbelieve, Damaris Ty, for example. They will find out then what they do believe. Some will hate it and run from it, as you do, Mr. Quentin. They will be hunted. Nothing will escape.
Can't the breach be closed?
You think you can govern the principles of creation?
I don't know, but I insist on being allowed to find out for myself.
You think you can stand against them?
If they are part of me, as you say they are, perhaps I might. Perhaps the authority which is in me over me shall be in me over them.
What?
Like the rest of the world, you don't know necessity when you see it. Good night, gentlemen.
He's a charmer, isn't he?
Why don't you go to bed, old thing?
Yes. Well, it'll be sweet dreams after all that, won't it?
Now do go away and let me think, or I shall be no good to anyone.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Damaris, my dear, don't worry, darling. The lion and the dragon will we tread underfoot.
Servile fear.
Quentin, we need to go back to Smetham. Back to the scene of the crime, as it were.
Half a mo, I'm not even out of bed yet.
I should like very much to hear whether anyone else is seeing things.
Oh, not a chance, old boy. I don't intend to find myself within 100 miles of that haunted little hamlet. I am a Londoner. And a Londoner I have definitely and definitively decided to remain.
That afternoon, the two young men left London to wander once again out onto the Beringer Road.
The sun was hot.
My God, the sun's hot.
June was drawing to a rich close.
They both stood looking at the Beringer house.
The grass was dry and brown.
The earth hard and cracked.
It looks quiet enough. Those sheep don't seem disturbed.
Well, they're stupid. Aren't they? I see. On the top of that rise. Do you see?
Good God!
The lion.
Passing slowly through the trees.
It moved with a stately ferocity.
The vast head turning one way and then the other.
Perhaps now would be a suitable moment to run for it?
No. If that is what is in me, then I may be able to control it. And if not...
And if not...
We'll see what a service revolver can do.
They left the gate and went on along the road.
The trees, however, after a few minutes, shut the beast out of sight.
Oh, come on, it's gone.
Quentin looked back over his shoulder.
Let's get back to town, shall we?
Quentin's eyes grew wide and blind with terror.
Anthony swung round.
It was larger.
It was mightier.
It moved like a walled city.
Like a siege tower.
Each terrible paw, as it set down, sank into the firm ground as if into mud.
And was plucked forth without effort.
Anthony could feel the strength of his body flowing out of him.
He began to tremble.
To gasp.
Am I dying?
Was he dying?
Perhaps that was it.
Perhaps he was dying.
He was riding against some terrific wind.
Balancing upon the instinctive powers of his spirit.
If this is in me, and I reach beyond it...
Suddenly, he was flying.
Looking down on a wide stretch of land.
Forest.
Plain.
River.
Where huge saurians were creeping slowly up from the waters, coming into sight.
And then disappearing.
He was sweeping down towards the ground.
Plunging towards a prehistoric world.
Behind this lumbering vastidity, suddenly his own world broke out into being through that other.
There was a wild minute in which mammoths and dinotheria wandered among the hedges of English fields.
And in the midst of that confused vision, again suddenly he found himself lying on the ground.
Found myself lying on the ground in a recovered inner peace. No sign of the lion. No sign of Quentin. I get to my feet. All of the countryside lies still, silent, empty. Only high above, a winged something disports itself in the full blaze of the afternoon sun. Nothing but questions. If Foster's right, every human being is precisely a pattern of these powers, and the present general pattern of the world is being violently changed into another pattern, the original pattern. Oh, damn, what's happening to Quentin? And what about Damaris? If that childish ignorance and arrogance ever met these kinds of dangers face to face, can I get her to London? How long would London be safe? And damn it, where the hell is Quentin? I have to be steady. I have to be quiet. Remember, man was meant for control, to be lord of his own nature, and to accept the authority that had been given to Adam over all manner of beasts, as the lovely antic fable goes. Can I take dominion over the beasts of heaven? I have to admit, I'm feeling a trifle microcosmic at the moment. Wish I had any prospect of exercising dominion over Damaris, let alone the known universe.
Investigations.
Really? People do come at the most inconvenient times?
He's one of my cousin's people on that little paper of theirs, the 2 camps.
Mr. Anthony Durant.
Mr. Durant, Mrs. Rockbotham thinks she knows you. Do sit down.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Rockbotham.
Now, what can we do for you?
Well, I've really only called to ask after Mr. Beringer. He was to, do an article for the 2 camps on the symbolism of the cosmic myths. I've only just heard of his illness.
Yes, I'm afraid he is ill.
Seriously?
My dear, perhaps Mr. Durant would like to see Mr. Beringer.
Well, he won't gain much. He's unconscious. Still, I may take it that you represent a widespread concern.
Oh, very.
Well, then, if you'd care to come out with me tomorrow morning, about 12?
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, that'll be capital. You'll excuse me now, will you? I have to pop off for a bit of surgery.
Don't you go, Mr. Durant. Sit down and tell me how things are with the 2 camps.
Anthony felt the rest of the afternoon gather around him in a sense of timeless despair as Mrs. Rockbotham's mouth opened and
closed and seemed to chew and
swallow the very air in the dining room.
And Anthony along with it.
A touch of Ephesus.
With her address in his right hand, Anthony rapped on Miss Dora Wilmot's door with his left.
The maid ushered him in at once.
In a small, neatly furnished room, he found not only the lady whom he assumed to be Miss Wilmot,
but also the gentleman whom he knew to be Mr. Foster standing by her.
Thank you for seeing me, Miss Wilmot. I've come to inquire about Mr. Beringer and what happened Wednesday night.
The woman puzzled him.
She was in the queerest manner, gathered up in her chair.
Eyes half closed.
Head
swaying
slightly.
And why should we tell you anything, Mr. Durant?
I admit that I'm much more inclined to accept your hypothesis than I was.
Hypothesis?
But I believe in my own.
And that is?
I believe that I must try myself against these things.
And if they are in you, how will you do it? Will you set yourself against yourself? For without them you could not be. And if you struggle against us, whom do you think shall triumph? I think, Mr. Durant, you would be very wise to cease.
The last word indescribably prolonged itself in the twilight.
The sound ran round the walls as if the very room were alive with sibilance.
Foster's slight movement forward escaped him.
Dora Wilmot's body, crouching deeper into the chair, escaped him.
In a flash, the woman slid in one involved movement from the chair
in which she had sat half coiled, and from where she lay
on the floor at his feet. Her arms went up and twisted themselves around his waist.
At the same time, the man sprang forward and upward, head thrust out.
Head thrust out as if in design upon his throat.
All around him in the room were noises of hissing and snarling. Anthony felt himself falling. With one tremendous movement, he threw the man's body off and then caught the woman's hair and tore at it until her arms unclasped, and she too fell away.
His enemies lay still,
shining eyes fixed on him.
Sorry to be a bother, but I'll stick to my own hypothesis, if you don't mind.
He found the maid hovering in the little hall.
She was gazing at his broken collar.
Not to worry, just a touch of Ephesus.
Ephesus, sir?
I can't give you the reference, but your mistress will. It's where St. Paul had trouble with the beasts. You ask her. Cheerio.
Marcella Victorinus of Bologna.
With his address in his right hand, Anthony rapped on Mr. Richardson's door with his left.
The maid ushered him in at once.
In a small, neatly furnished room, he found Mr. Richardson, village bookseller and antiquarian.
I've been expecting you, Mr. Durant.
If he turns into a centipede,
Anthony thought,
I'll step on him.
Sit down. Please sit down.
Mrs. Rockbotham gave me your name. You attended the meeting the other night.
Indeed. Most eventful.
I called on Miss Wilmot. Mr. Foster was there.
And which of them was responsible for the collar?
Foster.
I suspected something like this. Scotch.
I don't know why they should attack me, please, or why whatever's in them should attack me.
Foster's strong, Wilmot's weak. There's not much meekness in either of them. With these powers abroad, as it were, it's their type that will be the first to feel them. Here you are.
You know what's going on, thank you.
I do. You're welcome.
Then, what's going on?
Richardson leaned forward and picked up
from the table a very fat,
old manuscript.
This is the De Angelis of Marcellus Victorinus of Bologna, published in the year 1514 at Paris and dedicated to Leo X. May I read you an extract?
Well...
The orders we have received from antiquity enlarge our knowledge of those secret things which are in heaven. By such orders know we the shapes and symbols whereby divine celestials are expressed, but in riddles. Lest evil men work sorcery on the appearance of them, which would be dragon-like flung forth from the void into the world. This dragon is the power of the lion, according to the hierarchy of the composed wonders of heaven. Now there's more. These spectres, being invoked, have power upon those who adore them and transform them into their very terrible likeness, destroying them with great moanings and so on, etc., etc., etc. The idea seems to be that the energies of these orders can exist in separation from the intelligence which is in them when they're in heaven, the other world. How's your Scotch?
Yes, please.
And that if deliberately or accidentally you invoke the energy without the intelligence, well, you're likely eventually to be pretty considerably done for. Here you are.
Anything else in there? Thank you.
No, not really. Oh, he did your rams on about the seraphim without really giving you a clear idea of the who, why, and what of it all. Now, I want to ask you something. I heard about this afternoon. How did you escape from the shape of the lion?
I was flying, not a plane.
Yes, thought as much. See, here, the Lord brought you out of Egypt on the back of a strong eagle. The eagle, you see? The celestial symbol of self-worth.
Yes, well, How do you suppose one goes about getting in touch with this celestial symbol?
Within. And one place else, young man.
Beringer's house?
Yes.
I was afraid of that. No other way?
Would you take it if there was?
I would have preferred a choice.
Soda?
Please.
The fugitive.
Damaris had gone out for a walk. Not because she had wanted to, but because, as she had told her father, it seemed the only way of getting a little peace. In general, Damaris associated peace with her study, books, and her manuscripts, rather than with the sky, the hills, and the country roads. Peace to her was not a state to be achieved, but a necessary condition of her daily work. And peace, therefore, as often happens, evaded her continually. In a convulsive patience, therefore, she walked firmly out of her house, out of the town, and up the rising ground that lay about it. Psst. On top of it all, the relation between divine perfection and creation was proving annoyingly complicated. Psst. Plato's absolute beauty is fine because it isn't necessarily conscious of the world. But the god of Abelard is conscious of the world. But that consciousness can't be necessary for God, because nothing but God could be necessary for God. For goodness sake.
You shouldn't be there. You should hide.
Mr. Sabbit? Quentin, where are you?
In the bushes, where you should be.
What are you doing?
Keeping out of its way.
Quentin, do get up and talk sensibly.
Look, get up the road a bit and dig yourself a hole.
Let go of me, Mr. Sabbit.
Listen!
Really, this is too much.
If you crawl along the ditch, you're all right. It's too big to get into the ditch.
I'm going to kick you.
Shut up. Listen. Quiet. Listen. Oh, God. I knew it. Get away from me, you bitch. You told it where to find me. Bitch, bitch, bitch.
Far off in the sky, Damaris saw a winged shape.
It had to be very large to be so visible so high up.
And then it flew off.
The London offer.
Damaris, you saw him and you didn't help him.
Don't talk at me like that. It was a great shock to me.
You've got a worse shock than that coming to you.
Why do you always talk as if I don't know anything and then expect me to marry you?
Because I love you. I'm sorry. I came here to ask you to come to London with me.
Why on earth should I go to London?
Quentin, God save him, offered you a hole in a ditch. I'm offering you London.
Anthony, there's no earthly reason why...
The reason is a very unearthly one. The princes of heaven are loose in the world, and you are not going to know what to do about it.
Anthony, you're really going to have to understand that I'm not...
Something drives Quentin mad. Something makes your father pray to butterflies. Something frightens everyone at the Beringer house, and something obsessed Foster and your friend Miss Wilmot.
She's not my friend.
Quiet! Now, you can stop and meet it if you choose. Or you can come to my flat in London for a few days' grace at least.
I don't understand you a bit. I think you're trying to be kind, and I'm sorry about your friend. Perhaps if it hadn't been so sudden. You see, I was preoccupied with that bothering business of the divine perfection.
Oh, divine perfection. It's a problem. Yes, all right, goodbye. I love you. We may yet meet at Philippi.
And then,
much to her surprise,
he left.
The pit in the house.
In the car.
Beastly amount of thunder.
No rain.
Yes, and no lightning.
On the way to the Beringer house.
Some kind of electrical nucleus, I suppose. Well, doctor's life, you know. All sorts of weather, all sorts of people. Sometimes, though, I'd as soon be doctor to a zoo. Doctor's joke, of course.
Talking of zoos, did they ever catch that lioness they were all after?
Ah, well, they think it must have gone in the other direction. I suppose that means in the direction they didn't go. Here we are.
The house.
Silent.
Secret.
With a potentiality beyond all knowledge.
What indescribable behemoth of might and beauty was even now, perhaps, dragging itself down the stairs?
Actually, the only behemoth...
And though she was fat, she was hardly that.
Was the housekeeper.
She let them in and ushered them upstairs to the waiting male nurse.
The nurse took them into the Beringer sick room.
Beringer's eyes were wide open, but unseeing.
For a moment, Anthony thought or fancied they'd flicked into life. Not common life, but as if a dangerous vitality had threatened him.
Quite comatose. Shall we go downstairs?
As Anthony got to the door, he couldn't resist.
He couldn't resist a backward glance.
Then he realized he was barring the doctor's way.
Oh, sorry.
Dr. Rockbotham passed through with a little bow of acknowledgement.
Anthony closed the door behind him and stepped onto the landing.
It makes it so awkward, doesn't it, when there's no way of discovering where his relations live?
Where am I?
If any,
What's happening?
Below him was the shadowy form of a staircase, but below those fell great cliffs. It was bottomless, a vast pit.
Above him, the same great cliffs, extending incalculably high, and above them, a cloudy white circle of what seemed like sky.
A winged form.
In the sky.
Coming down in spirals.
A giant of the
Riding
eagle kind.
in the void, flying without wings, securely existing by movement and balance among the dangers of that other world, I grow into my proper office and feel the flickers of prophecy pass through me. I'm moving now amid sudden shapes and looming powers, the strength of lion, subtlety of serpent, loveliness of butterfly. And through them, I know this world isn't open to me, and I know that my service on earth is not completed. And as I adore these beautiful, serene, and terrible manifestations, they vanish
It makes
around
it so awkward, doesn't it, when there's no way of discovering where his relations live, if any, of course. Shall we be off?
They began to move toward the door.
Dr. Rockbotham nodded goodbye to the housekeeper.
Anthony followed his example.
Still thundering.
Anthony could have said,
That's not thunder. It's the language of the guardian of the angelical world.
But Dr. Rockbotham seemed insufficiently sensitive enough to the world of the immortals to appreciate the revelation.
The conversion of Damaris Ty.
This is a graph of human thought from 500 BC to AD 1200, showing, respectively, the relation of official, cultural, and popular thought to the ideas of personalized and depersonalized supernatural powers. In this graph, it is quite easy to see what attitudes men down through the ages towards their gods. The smell. Oh my God, the
As
smell.
she staggered backwards, the bright sunlight that was over her papers suddenly disappeared.
A heavy blackness obliterated the room.
Damaris glanced round to see what dark cloud had filled the sky.
There was a terrific beak protruding through the open window and into the room.
2 huge flapping wings.
2 horrible red eyes.
And that overwhelming stink.
Its eyes held her.
Its beak jerking at her, as if stabbing.
She had a vision of teeth.
It was moving.
It was coming in.
No!
She flung herself back and burst through her study door into
Banged
the landing
the door
beyond.
closed behind her.
She looked up and saw the shape of the walls and ceiling growing fainter against a vast plain stretching emptily
away to where at the horizon a heavy and inflamed sky sank to meet it.
A tiny figure from far away was coming towards her.
But human.
The pterodactyl wheeled in the sky.
She returned to the approaching figure.
A man in a large cloak.
Head shaved in a tonsure.
Abelard?
Peter Abelard?
Singing as he came.
The horrible shadowed presence of the pterodactyl suddenly and angrily swept down out of the sky.
She shrieked and stumbled and
it
fell.
caught her.
And it caught her.
And it caught her.
I caught you just in time, didn't I, dearest?
Anthony. Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for?
I've behaved so badly.
That doesn't matter between us.
What did I see?
You saw what you know. And because it's the only thing you know, you saw it like that. I tried to warn you.
I think I ought to go and look for Quentin.
Why?
It's either that or Abelard. My father doesn't want me.
Your father's dead, my dear.
Is he?
I'm afraid he is.
I should have loved him more.
Damaris searched her heart, and in the dark places where the images of obscene profanations dwelt, they both stayed. For a long time.
The hunting of Quentin.
Damaris swung along the country road where she'd had her first encounter with young Quentin.
Even in his wildness, Quentin had kept some thought for others.
Now she was at the very spot where they had first met.
Well, if I can be of any use to him, who in his madness had been greater than me in my sanity, here I am.
Far and fast there came to her the sound of something.
She jumped over a stile, came into a wide meadow, and froze.
They were running along the farther edge of the meadow.
2 figures.
The first was a man.
The second, a man too, it seemed.
But whether it was going on 2 feet or 4, she couldn't tell.
The first was torn and bleeding, his face inhuman with terror and exhaustion, one cheek bitten and gnawed.
Quentin? There were tears on her face for very distress of love.
He rushed on past her.
Round the meadow.
Now the second form approached
It
her.
seemed to be leaping rather than running.
The face was as inhuman as the other.
But while that was man blasted,
this was man brutalized.
Snarling,
A wind
snuffing,
poured from its
snorting.
open mouth and flung her backward till
she reeled against the stile.
What to do? What? Some other thing came into her line of vision.
A solitary lamb moved towards her.
And then, across the meadow skimmed the sudden shadow of an eagle.
She moved towards the lamb as it advanced to meet her.
They came together.
And the innocence that sprang in her knew a greater innocence.
She looked again at that terrible hunt.
It had been close after midnight when the creature that had been Mr. Foster had scented, trailed, and attacked.
Quentin?
Her voice came crying to what function of his brain was left.
He broke inward across the meadow.
Quentin!
The voice of Damaris seeming to guide him.
He came down in front of her and she threw herself over his body.
Threw herself over his body to protect it.
At the feet of the lamb, they lay.
The pursuing creature very softly began to creep around them.
The Foster thing, by some interior power, was being drawn off.
A wind surrounded it, and it was lifted and hung absurdly in the air, an inch or 2 off the ground. That which was within him rushed to mingle with that which was without, and in dreadful pain, Foster, ceased to be.
Slowly, Damaris and Quentin crossed the meadow and reached the stile and retraced their steps along the hard country road.
Quentin from his flight,
Damaris from her seclusion.
Until at last they came to the house where, as twilight had begun to fall the day before,
her father had drawn his last breath in final surrender to the beauty that had possessed him.
The place of friendship.
So you found him.
He's asleep upstairs now.
You've changed.
Quentin will be himself again in no time. Yes.
I won't say I'm sorry about your father. I think he ended his business. And now I must get on with mine.
You let me come with you?
Come on.
Where are we going?
To the field where you found Quentin.
In a short while they were out of town again and coming to the stile where Damaris had been with Quentin.
Her breath came quicker.
They had arrived.
She looked at Antony.
You'll stay here.
Lightly he laid his hand on the stile and vaulted over.
It was almost dark, and the shadows were confusing.
At a distance, the figure of Antony was different somehow.
Suddenly he stood still, then turned a little.
On his shoulder was perched a huge bird, and as he began to call, it spread its wings and closed them again.
He was calling.
He called and commanded.
The forest all round was in movement.
Living creatures showed themselves on its edge.
By the names that were the ideas, he called them.
And the ideas, who are the principles of everlasting creation, heard him.
The principles of everlasting creation, who are the cherubim and seraphim of the eternal.
They were returning.
Summoned by the authority of man from their incursion into the world of man.
Suddenly, there fell over the whole scene a strange and lovely clearness, shed from the wings of a
soaring wonder that left the shoulder where it had reposed and flew, scattering light.
Scattering light.
The intermingled foliage of the trees of knowledge and of life received it.
Amid those branches, the eagle, which was the living act of science, sank and rested.
Below the tree, the human stood, and on either side of him stood the shapes of the lion and the lamb.
In and for that exalted moment, all acts of peace that then had being through the world were deepened and knew their own nature more clearly.
Antony looked on the beasts and seemed to speak to them, and they slowly withdrew.
On the very edge of the mystery, the lion looked back, half-turned towards the way it had gone.
Its eyes met those of the man who faced it.
He bade the angelical pass back and close the breach.
It turned and moved away.
The guard that protected Earth was set again.
And the interposition of the mercy veiled the destroying energies from the weakness of men.
Anthony leapt the stile, stretching out his hand for her.
And she came to him and caught it.
Panting from his rush, he smiled at her.
Panting from her vigil, she breathed all herself back.
After a little?
I say, you're not cold, are you?
They began to walk slowly home.
It's not very far.
Still, I wish you'd got a coat or something.
No, I'm not cold.
You've been listening to The Place of the Lion by Charles Williams, the third in this year's Bell Canada reading series from the Shaw Festival. It was adapted and directed by Neil Monroe. In the cast, you heard Susie Burnett as Damaris Tighe, Ben Carlson as Anthony, Gillian Cook as Mrs. Rockbottom, Lynn Cormack as the nurse, the maid, and Mrs. Portman, Sherry Flett as Dora Wilmot, Lauren Kennedy as Mr. Foster and Dr. Rockbottom, Duncan Stewart as Mr. Tighe, Mr. Richardson and Lorigan, and William Vickers as Quentin. The Bell Canada reading series is recorded live at the Royal George Theatre in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, with special thanks to Bill Talbot, Jim Smagata, and Amy Jewell. The recording engineer was Joe Mahoney, and the producer of the Bell Canada reading series is Barbara Worthy.